So what are your overall thoughts on this thing? I mean, we did not go through every case like a lawyer and try to break it down and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what lawyers and the court system is for. But overall, what is your thoughts and takes on it?
Probably the same since November 4th. Like, I wouldn't doubt that there is cases of fraud. I think we have the capability as a country, but it's more statewide. It's the state's responsibility to audit the votes. And from what they are all doing it. Whether you trust them or not, that's a whole nother, well, it's not really a whole nother conversation. It's in the topic we're talking about. But it's hard to start that argument. If you don't trust the system, there's nothing, I don't trust them, but you got to take their word sometime. Otherwise, it's just anarchy.
Yeah.
But so I think it's very possible that there was fraud, and if there was, we need to find it and fix it. But all these cases they're bringing up, it's just a lot of hearsay, lots of hypocrisy. Gotta love the video of the two protests going on at the same time. One saying "stop the vote" or "stop the count," and the other one was. What the fuck were they saying? Stop the count and keep the vote?
Or count the vote, stop the vote.
I can believe them, but they really don't make it easy with press conferences like that. And everything that I have read, it's just a bunch of hearsay. It sounds like something you'd probably hear me with my tinfoil hat. Like, I can believe it, but, until you have the evidence, which you've claimed you have tons of, but you can't show it, you can only show it to the court, but when you're in court, you haven't shown it. Please tell me, like, where I'm confused. I don't know what to fucking think.
No, okay.
I am really trying to see their side on this, but
I think what people are trying to really get at is, one, sworn affidavits. I'm not a lawyer, but sworn affidavits are used in the court system. And one of their defenses has been, well, this is the evidence, these affidavits. But if these things were happening, where there was fraud happening on the scale that they had, they would be able to get those ballots that they claim are being miscounted, or the dead people, or all these cases of fraud that they're claiming. They would be able to get them and then present them to the court system. Like, hey, here's the 10,000 dead people that voted. Here, they're all dead. Here they are. And I don't
even think that's really along. Sorry to cut you off. I don't think that's, from what I've read, the line of fraud that they're trying to prove. Right. Like, some cases, I think they're trying to just go for misconduct. I think it's Michigan, they're really trying to push the narrative that they were stopping poll watchers from being within a certain distance.
Right.
And that got thrown out because I'm pretty sure it's Michigan, but the state I was reading about doesn't have any state laws about how far they need to be or can be within. So there's no law that was broken there.
Right.
Legally speaking. But I've been trying to put myself in the other foot. Like, if we had, say, 200 affidavits claiming, like, Trump surrogates were, like, flipping votes or stopping the count, doing illegal ballots, would we be, like, we'd be having the same press conferences? I would hope whoever's hairdresser does a little bit better on the hair dye on our side, but beggars can't be choosers. I feel like if Trump had won, we would pretty much be doing the same shit.
I disagree. When Trump won
I
the
don't
last,
think I don't think Biden himself would be like Trump is, but I'm saying like the not like legal wise like what Giuliani's doing. I don't think we'd have this. I'm saying like just the right doesn't really believe. I think they're actually really coming around. I'm loving to see people starting to see what a fucking buffoon this guy's been. Like,
oh, please.
4 years too late, 5 or 6 years too late. But we've been through this before. We think like, oh boy, the right is waking up. Make me that Republican Party that I can vote for because I really am sick of these Democrats. You guys just aren't much better. Be better. I will gladly vote for you.
Look, at the end of the day, I get it. But I'm over it in the sense that affidavits are evidence. But if you're gonna be accusing some, like if you, these examples that they're using can just as easily happen on the other side. And even some of the counties that they have been accusing of are run by Republicans. So it comes down to two things. What kind of patterns has Trump been using when he talks about things that he's for? And we've seen last election, he brought up voter fraud when it came, like if you want to look at sworn affidavits, look at the Mueller report. I know it's a 300-page document, but it very clearly shows Trump's personal conduct and how it was very, very wrong the way that he conducted himself as president, meaning threatening or using his position of power to sway another elected official or official in government. So if you're going to use these affidavits in support of Trump, then you need to be just as critical of Trump's conduct when Mueller, or Mueller, as you used to always call me out on, had a 232-page report on Trump's conduct. Yes, it wasn't collusion, but there was a lot of other stuff. So looking at that pattern of Trump and the way he uses his power, I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe him. There's a difference between voter fraud and voting irregularities. Yes, Ryan, count to 100. Count $100 bills to 100. I guarantee you don't get it right on the first try.
I think I have a thing. I might have a dollar bill somewhere around here.
But there's a difference between irregularities and fraud.
That's one thing I keep hearing about. Like, I forget which state. I think it was Pennsylvania. They're talking about the mail-in ballots that just took the vote. Which I was telling you election night. I was like, they're only at like 70%, man. And I forget which city it was I was looking at. I was like, they're gonna bring it back. All those mail-ins, they can't start counting them till like 11. It's like, and I'm sorry, like, I'd be surprised if Trump didn't get any mail-in votes, but the candidate that is saying don't vote by mail, I'm not going to be surprised if no one votes for him by mail. I'm sure it wouldn't surprise me if Trump just demolished Biden in show up polls, like voting on site.
Yeah.
I bet Trump won in landslides.
No, you're right. I mean,
and
yeah.
I don't feel safe with the mail-in. I think there's pros and cons to it, and unless we can be sure that none of this, that, you know, either make the penalties for, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to be real safe about it, but I don't feel too safe about anyways we vote. Because that's one of the things that, what's her fucking name? Sidney Powell was really trying to dig in on. What was the two names of them? Like Dominion, and there's another, another like voting system company
Right.
that she was trying to say like, oh, they got them George Soros ties. They know the Venezuelan leader. Like they were pulling out all the cards. Clinton's, Black Lives Matter, they blamed every enemy. Republicans for, like, blame the Democrats. Like any top conspiracy about the Democrats that was brought out in the press conference. Like all those big elites were to blame for this. I have seen videos of like how some of these machines can be hacked. It is something to be worried about. And even Elizabeth Warren was, I forget who she was bringing this up with. It was another senator. They were just saying like, you know, some of these machines do have vulnerabilities that we need to take a look at or take seriously.
Yeah.
So that like when I'm listening to that botched, to say the least, botched press conference, like I, as a conspiracy guy, I do try and hear him out. It's somewhat plausible. Just, you know, if it's so widespread, you'd think you could find evidence in one of the states.
Yeah.
Just one. But yeah, here we are.
Well, I guess all the judges
Sorry to go off on my rant.
I guess all of the judges that threw out all of his cases are part of the Democratic deep state.
Oh, without a doubt. Especially those fuckers in Georgia, they're all Democrats.
Right.
You can't get much more liberal than a Republican from Georgia. There's just nothing more liberal or progressive.
I mean, it is what it is, and it looks like Trump is finally going to concede.
They're so progressive, they're getting a new flag, or they got one.
Georgia?
Or no, maybe that's Mississippi.
That was Mississippi.
Oh no, Georgia's the peach, isn't it?
Yeah, Georgia's the peach. Yeah, they love peaches.
Yeah,